Hey, hi, Kristen. All right. Today is the 5th of April, and we had some exciting things go on today. So I wanted to, we'll talk about that in just a second. I wanted to start sharing with you guys what our our team kind of does from month to month. I'll post it as on the post as well, like on Facebook. But I think it's important for you guys to know what the potential is for your future in your business. I just hit my 10 years on April 3rd, which went by so fast. And the one thing I can say is that I was so grateful that I didn't waste a moment of growing my business. I didn't wait around and say, I don't know enough. I don't know how to sell. I'm too shy. I don't know enough people. Like all the things that I think all of us kind of say in our minds, all of the reasons why we think we're not going to make our Scentsy business more than what, a hobby or becoming a smart shopper of getting the discount by, your own commission and stuff. But the one thing I did do is that I dove in head first and learned and showed up to as much as I could. And but I also was thinking about it that why was I so like involved, and why did I take every extra moment, excuse me, of my time to learn my business and actually try things? What was the reason? And what I could say is my why was so strong. My strong was beyond me. It wasn't something that technically would benefit me. It was to take care of my children. Many of you guys know my story. I'm not going to bore you with it, except for the fact that I was so devastatingly hungry to never have to worry about putting food in my kids' bellies ever again, that all of the fears went out the door. All of the fear of, oh, I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want my friends to think of me this way. I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't want to ask people to join because I'm not, I all of that wasn't, it was deleted. Like whatever was going to happen to me was going to happen. And people, if they laughed at me, great. If they thought I was if it was a weird pyramid scheme, whatever. Um, I wasn't worried about what people thought other than the people that wanted to join in the business, whether they were a client, a host, or a consultant. And there was this, again, the hunger was that strong. So they always say, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. That is very true to an extent. However, there are people that have become very successful in their businesses that didn't have that dying heartache like I did, of devastation that I couldn't put food on the table for my family. But something connected with them. Something was made their desire great enough that, or it was even just they were having enough fun and enjoying it, that was taking away, maybe either taking away something that wasn't enjoyable in their life and adding something enjoyable, or it was adding value in some way. We could just say that it's adding value in some way, whether it's socially, whether it's financially, whether it's learning new things for their own life skills, which this business definitely does. So the reason why I want you guys to know what our group does every month, and my personal team, I'll share with you guys as well, is because when I joined, I was just me. There was none of you guys. I never knew that you would be eventually in my organization. Um, Many of the people that are on my group, on my team right now, um, told me no several times. And but it was my belief in the business structure, believe that it actually can add value to their lives, whether they were just using the products, they were using the products and getting it free and half off, or they were becoming a business consultant, alongside me. And so I, I want everybody to remember that everybody starts with just you. Okay. one of the most powerful things that happened to me, I'm a very visual person. You guys hear me say that all the time. Sometimes I can't, my brain doesn't even work unless I'm looking at something. And so my first convention, which we call reunion now, um, every year, Orville and Heidi have a keynote. Okay, meaning they talk about something specific, and it's usually a very inspiring life lesson that you can use in your personal life as well as your business. And the keynote for Heidi's in 2011, in August of 2011, was the power of one. And I feel like that couldn't have been a more powerful theme for me just starting my business. Now, I had already became a director when I went to convention 3 months into my business. Okay, I promoted that prior month in July, and so, but I didn't understand what that meant necessarily. I just knew I was adding value to other people's lives, whether they were buying, hosting, or joining with me. I didn't have a strategy. I didn't feel like I was this great leader and I had more knowledge than them. It wasn't that at all. I was feeding my kids as well as the desire of being able to help other people like me do that. And that was literally the majority of the people that were joining with me were all military wives like me that, we were being dragged around, never could really keep a business going because, or like working somewhere because we be pulled to the next duty station. So I focused on that to start. But then it obviously, to get bigger and bigger, it expanded, right? So the power of one, the visual that Heidi had was a horse running in a meadow, and you could hear she's very smart with the audio. Like it really just brought, like you felt like you were literally standing in the meadow and hearing this horse, the running, And then all of a sudden, two horses started running right alongside. And then like a row of like five, and then a row of 10. And all of a sudden there was this huge herd of horses. You hear them all running together. And if you guys are like me, the sound of horses running is amazing. And you saw them all running together to the same beat, and they were all running like locking arms basically. And that was such a huge and beautiful moment for me because I was like, that's what I want. And I already had started it technically because like I said, I already promoted to director. So I think I had 17 people on my team in month 4. And it made me realize what I was really doing. I was like, oh my gosh, it was a visual, it clarity that I'm on the right track basically. But the one of the biggest things that most consultants do in the beginning of their business is they count themselves out thinking they don't know enough, they don't have enough, like I don't have enough product, I don't have enough this, that. They just are always looking at what they don't have enough of before they start painting their picture of where they want their business to go. And creating dream boards and writing down goals of where what you want to achieve for this month, the next 6 months, this next year. So my biggest, what I just wanted to kind of open with is that if you haven't sat down and really thought about what would you like your business to do for your life, I encourage you to do that. And you may not have some big why, like I said. Right now, it might be just like, I just really love my Scentsy products and I want to get them for free or half off, which is totally understandable. But if you can stretch yourself a little bit and say, okay, if I pay this bill every month and not have to worry about it because I pay it with my Scentsy business, how would that add value to your life? Where would that free you up in a different place financially that there wouldn't be as much strain or worry, or maybe you'll be able to add some money to your savings account so you have a little nest egg that you can decide to go on vacation. Or a lot of wives, they tell me like they hate asking their husbands even though they work full time themselves, that like, I hate that I have to ask if I can go get my nails done or my hair, or go buy a new outfit or whatever. It's your nest egg to say, hey, this is what I need for me. I would like to go get a massage once a month, or whatever that may be. Think big and think in color. And big to me is different to you. You're big, maybe I want to pay for my, car payment every month. And that may be ginormously huge goal in your mind and your perspective right now. And it may be compared to what you are earning on a regular basis, right? But if you think about it of like, okay, this is the goal. Now I need to learn how to make that goal possible. And that's when we break it down into how much I have to sell consistently, how I can, building a team will help me do that so I don't have to sell as much. All my options of how that picture can be painted, basically. Okay. And so that's how one of the best things I did in my business is that I made a dream board immediately. I wanted to know what Scentsy was going to do for the immediate. And because I did that immediately, guys, my first paycheck was $1,200. And of course, I'll do the income disclosure in the comments here, but because they say that it's not typical or whatever. But let me see here. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so I have to post that. But it's typical or not typical. It's possible for every single one of you. Every single one of you. What is the link? I can't find it. Hold on one second. Hold on. I went to. Sorry, guys. Melissa needs the link to here. Where's the invite? Goodness. Oh gosh. It was emailed, Melissa, and in the events. Okay. Um, all right. So hopefully you find it in your email, Melissa, okay? Or you go into the events. Some of you, this is a speech that you've heard before by me, your sponsor, your director, whatever. But I want you to sit down and ask yourself and be honest. Have you really taken that to heart? Have you really registered how important and how powerful breaking a vision down, call it a dream board, a vision board, whatever you want, a list of goals, whatever that is, because no goals can be completed if the goal isn't set. You may end up achieving a certain result, but you're less likely to achieve that result again if you haven't broke down the steps that you've done or the steps that you need to do. So, all right, with that being said, I want to go ahead and share with you guys last month's numbers, because it's a joint effort, guys. It's not just me. If I was scared and nervous about how much I knew or how great I was with sales or whatever, I would have talked myself out of this business a long time ago. So I'm going to go back to March really fast. I'm going to take some names off just so I can give you guys a visual, because like I said, I like visuals myself. And so I want to give you guys that too. So I'm just going to take all this. All right. Because if you don't know what's possible, it's very hard um, to be inspired and to strive for something, right? Okay. So Kristen, can you give me a thumbs up if you could see the workstation? Okay. So here we go. My team that basically I am everybody's director. All right. And this was from March, did 49,923.68. So if you're on my team and I'm your director, that's what we did as a group, as a team. And then as far as group, we did 115,973.67. Now, I want to show you guys the growth in 1 month. I mean, 1 year. All right. How powerful a year in your business can be. So we're going to go back to March of last year. So March 2020. All right. So the team did 36,362. So over a $20,000 growth in wholesale. And our group almost doubled. Well, actually did double, over doubled in wholesale volume. So that's what's possible for every single one of you. Um, if you are learning your craft as far as your products, and booking parties, because as much as we try to get away from the scary word of parties, this is a party planning business, guys, and it was built for busy people that already have a packed schedule every Monday through Friday or whatever, or 7 days a week, to be able to make extra income and beyond, with a short amount of time that you can put effort into your business. And so, so hosting gets you in front of more people than just one person. Now you can grow your business one on one. It's just going to take you a lot longer. Okay. Because if you can market to 10 people or 30 people at once and spend that same 1 hour, 30 minutes, however style that you are able to share this products and this hosting opportunity and business opportunity with, you could be just as powerful in a 30-minute, social media group party, or in person. The world is opening up again. So I hope you guys are, instead of letting fear lead you, um, let your goals lead you, instead of, because I know that this past year has been so scary with, like, I mean, a lot of people have just, a lot of really bad things have happened. People have lost their full-time jobs and they're devastated. They've lost family members, they've been sick, their family members have sick. So there's a lot of very traumatic things that have happened in the last year. But I want you guys to know, the people kept that had the guarantee in their minds that they had control over their Scentsy business, whether it was going to go under or keep going. That is the reason why Scentsy is thriving. That is the reason why Scentsy has been in hyper growth when everybody else is not doing very well and closing doors. There's been a lot of direct sales businesses closing lately. So I just wanted you guys to stop and think about that, because there's probably more so of you that would, if you were honest with me, if you really think about it, you would be honest and say, I kind of thought that that'll never be me, or that's just not who I am, or I'm too busy. You know what I mean? You gave yourself reasons why you can't grow a reliable, solid financial Scentsy business. Um, oh, Melissa, she posted the income disclosure for me. Thank you. Um, so a little tip I have in my phone, and it's because I have a Mac, so everything's connected. In my little shortcuts, all I have to do is type in income, and it automatically is linked to the full link. So anytime I'm on my phone, my computer, anywhere, it pops up. I have like little shortcuts in my phone for everything, for my digital catalog on my website, for my Facebook link if I want them to be added to my VIP page, my Instagram. I have probably about, oh gosh, I don't know, as many as they let you have on your, if you have an Apple, I don't know what's the other one called? Samsung. I don't know what they have, but that's one of the many reasons why I love Apple, is because there's so many shortcuts and everything's linked together. And so even though I was on my computer, I was able to start typing income, and the whole link popped up, and I was able to put that into the Zoom chat. So that's something you might think about it. The subject we were going to talk about today was fundraising, and we are going to talk about that today, guys. But I also wanted to make everybody's aware of all the resources that are happening right now. If you haven't been around for long, if you joined after April of last year, there was a big movement that a few people got together and basically just really were thinking out of the box, brainstorming how we can make sure that Scentsy doors don't close. And the goal was active in April, like even hobbyists, people that don't really care if they're active every month, how we can get those people at least active so the home office doesn't shut their doors and they don't lose their business, their jobs. And it turned into way more than anybody actually expected. Way beyond active. I mean, there are people that joined in 2020 and already, star directors, superstar directors, like really have gone like crazy with growing their businesses. So it's absolutely possible. So what I want to do is I want to share my screen because I want to make sure everybody has a visual and that you guys know what's available to you. So first, I want to make sure that this is the wrong one. That's my team page. So this is the group page. So this is, you might be watching the Facebook group page. Here I am here, and it's being streamed. But I want to make sure that everybody knows what are all the tools available to right now that are always available, and then also the active in April. So these guides right here, they used to be called units. This is like basically a training program that you start off with the rules, and then you move on to a new consultant or reinstated if you are brand new again. If you're bringing new people on, you want to make sure they know about these things because these are like the main things that will help them. In here, there are the weekly new consultant calls, the links to join live, and then also recordings I'm posting. All of the recordings to these. So if you missed it live, you can go in here. I also email everything to you guys. More new consultants information. A lot of it is just mirrored from your workstation, just to make sure that you've gone through it. How to make PRV, how to grow your sales, which is obviously everybody wants to do that. Um, Things for Sensi success, as far as just like posts and tools that you're going to be able to use for your business. Here's I'm going to add uh, the link to Heidi's keynote for the power of one, because this one right here was also very powerful. Social media marketing. I'm not the best at social media, you guys. I want you guys to know that. I built my business by literally in-home parties, and basket parties and events and things like that. So I'm just learning along with you guys. So if I'm posting anything in here, it's usually from somebody else that does it really well. But there's 22 different ways to learn how to grow your business. If I share it, it's something I've done and it's worked for me. So I'm sharing it and it might work for you. These are business building posts. This one right here is new. This was actually from the Active in April Facebook page. I'm gonna get in there in a minute just to make sure everybody's involved in that. Marketing to find new business, incentives and challenges, compliance. Now, this is something, since we just had our NFL and NHL warmers launch this morning. Licensed, I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Licensed products are a huge asset to us. When I joined 10 years ago, every party I go to, I was waiting for something to say, do you have NFL warmers? Do you have NFL warmers? And it was always like, not yet. We had like a plain football back then. I used to say, well, this is, you can, football and have all your Steelers around it or whatever. But we've been waiting 10 years, well, 9 years, because it started last year, for that to happen. So we don't want to lose our license. So they're very, very strict. Okay. When it comes to licensed marketing products, you get one chance. If you violate anything, you get one chance and then you're done. And so even if it's you're unaware of it, which is the sad part, even if you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was out of compliance, I'm, did not intention to go against it. So what I really want to encourage all of you is to go make the time to read the standards and FAQs when it comes to licensed products marketing. Okay. Basically, I'll just share some basics. You cannot edit any marketing flyers in the marketing tab. The marketing that they give us is approved from the NFL, the NHL, Disney, all those licensed products, exactly the way it is. If you alter it in any way, you cannot do overlays of like, shading or whatever that's called. I don't even know what it's called, but like you can't make it like black and white if you want to, or like a different tinge or whatever. You can't add any verbiage to it. The only exception is on Instagram and Facebook in your stories. Let me see if I can show you guys. um, hold on a second. Let me see. An example. Oh, wait. Let me go back to my home page. Okay. I want you guys to see, where did Melissa, I know you're good at this stuff. How do I show my, my store, I'm clicking, oh, here it is, here it is. Sorry, I just told myself. Okay, so this is what, see how you could see where the marketing is? I didn't do anything to it, but you can add underneath it or on top of it. Okay, so that is like a really cool marketing tool that if you're not using your stories for marketing your licensed products, you're missing out, because this is the only way that we can market with ad verbiage or whatever on our licensed products. Now, Michelle Brooks, we were just talking, and what I was saying is that I always forget about not being able to add the verbiage because sometimes I'm just working so fast and I'm putting something in. I have a text and I blast it out to people with the link and just a little, and it has very little verbiage that I'm able to use. So I have to figure out a way to like condense as much information into like a flyer. But when it comes to the licensing stuff, I tend to forget that. And I always have to like retract, like, oh gosh, that's not right. So she just had the great idea of that, to take a screenshot of your Insta story or Facebook story, and then you can text that out with because it has all the extra information that you would want to put on your actual marketing photo that we can't do. I hope that makes sense. I've heard mail too. Is that true? I've never been able to find anything on it. Okay, so tell me what you're asking about.
You'd mentioned the verbiage, like we're not supposed to use verbiage. We're not supposed to edit the pictures at all. The only exception is through your stories. You said above and below it. Um, in one of the groups, in one of the trainings, the only groups that I ever really like listen to are you, Michelle, and group Make It Happen. Somebody somewhere had said, and the Thursday night shift, somebody somewhere had said that we could mail flyers, like do the same thing like on Instagram, like the stories, but we can mail that. And I just didn't know if that was true or not. Like where I could put words above and below it, but I just can't put words on it to mail it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's basically you're staying within compliance because you're taking a screenshot and then printing out the Insta story or the
That's okay.
whatever, and then mailing it out, because you're not. That's the thing, to be honest with you, I'm not 100%, but I would see that it would be okay, because it's okay it's a privately sent and it's still within the compliance of like on top and on bottom, and you're not putting it directly on the marketing tool that was created. So that's why I would say it would be, but I always tell everybody that talks to me about any type of marketing is to, if you're not 100% and you don't have documentation that says this, what you want to do is compliant, always just shoot compliance an email and just show them exactly what you want to, print out. Say, this is what I did on Instagram. I printed it out. Can I put this in my mailer? So they can see exactly what you shared, that you want to share and print out, and then they'll be able to approve that. But I always strongly, excuse me, these things are carbonated. Sorry, guys. I always strongly suggest that if you go through compliance, you get it approved. One of the things that a lot of consultants, they come to me saying, well, this was approved. What they do is they go and they edit it after they got it approved, and they add one thing that makes it out of compliance. So make sure whatever you do, you put time into doing, make sure you have it exactly the way you want to do it. So, and before you print it out, because I've had people say, you should ask first, So make sure that your dots are, your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed before, when it comes to anything licensed. And they're working on making sure, to figure out something to make it more clear and, easier to maneuver as far as understanding standards. Because like I said, like what I always like to say, and me and Michelle were talking about this, like everybody knows how long I've been in Scentsy, but these things, it's only been around for a year, for the NFL stuff. And as far as license, it's only been a couple years, and they've changed some standards. So like, it doesn't matter how long you've been in Sensi. It's what you comprehend and what your brain retains. And so don't expect, just because you see a superstar director doing something, that doesn't mean it's compliant, and it doesn't mean they're not being flagged and being warned. Or a director, or somebody you think that is doing really well in their business. um, that's the only thing that I would strongly suggest as far as that is don't mirror what other people are doing until you know it's absolutely compliant. Because that's one of the big mistakes consultants make, is they think, well, this person's doing it, so that must mean it's okay. So, all right, so we've got about 20 more minutes. I wanted to touch base on the fundraising that the All Consultant Call talked about on the 23rd. Um, did either of you that are on live get to listen to that training at all? Okay. Kristen shaking no. Melissa, I think, is typing. You can't remember. Okay. So basically, I just wanted to start a discussion on fundraising. I'm going to share my perspective. If you haven't watched the training, you can go. I'm going to show you guys how to go back, because that's been pretty much the biggest issue with people not watching All Consultant Calls, is because they can't be on live and then they don't know how to get back to it. Okay, so you'll click on your dashboard, and you'll go straight to Sensi Success. The reason why I'm not showing you guys like the first step, because all the private information and everything, but my dashboard, and then you're going to see Sensi Success, and then the list of the news and marketing and things like that. Click on the actual Sensi Success button, okay? And then you're going to go to training, and then you're going to go to content type and click lessons. Then you're going to go to apply filters, okay? Then you're going to see each month training. So you'll go to March, because we're in the first week of April. So we're always going to be talking about what was talked about the last Tuesday. Okay, so that was the 30th, which is right here. So the reason why we're doing fundraising, because that last Monday I canceled because I didn't have a voice. And then this one from the 30th was licensing product marketing guidelines. So that's what we were just talking about. So I would definitely go back and read that. I mean, watch that, because that's going to give you a better detail about marketing all of the licensed products for social media. And then as far as even on a one-on-one basis type thing. So the reason why I wanted to go back a little bit and talk about fundraising is because that is one of the biggest opportunities for you to grow your business fast. And what I mean by that is that you would be able to meet, oh, good. I'm glad that that helped, Kristen. You're going to meet people that you never, ever would have ever met. The reason why is because you are going to start with, let's just give you an example. My very first fundraiser was with a daycare center. I walked my little butt right into a daycare center. My kids were not old enough to be in daycare. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have kids, so I can't do that. I had kids, but I didn't have kids going there, so I had nothing to do. There was no in on my point of view. But what I did is I walked in with a proposal, which is basically just explains exactly what I'm willing to offer, how I'm going to offer it. I had a showcase brochure, and so they can see the beautiful layout of how Scentsy lays out those brochures. I'm just going to grab one for you guys. So these are also really good for just, mailing, because it's thinner and it has everything that we sell. And it even has the descriptions. The only thing that's not in here is bundles. And the reason why, bundles take away from, sales being as high as possible, right? If you're giving everybody discounts, you're not going to get as high as volume, which you're not going to be able to give them the higher donation price point. So there's a lot of people that have different opinions. I'm just going to share with you mine. They've done, other people have done a lot of different ways and been successful. And I personally do the showcase brochure because the way I look at it is that I want to give everybody an opportunity to buy whatever Scentsy they want. If they want to buy a $150 diffuser, I'm going to let them buy a $150 diffuser, right? And then also, a lot of people, since it's a household name now, so you're going to find that almost everybody that participates in the fundraiser, they're going to have way more people than they even realize that already buy Scentsy and are just going to get their Scentsy fix through the fundraiser. So they may have a consultant, maybe, but they may, buy Christmas gifts and birthday gifts because they're going to go above and beyond because they're raising money for their granddaughter's dance team or whatever. And so you'll see that people stock up for the entire like season on their Scentsy because it's a fundraiser. So if we limit it to just a I can't believe I said car candle. That was like 2009. I wasn't even around yet. Anyways, the car bar, or just a, scent circle fundraiser, or just a buddy clip fundraiser, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. Now, however, if you're doing a fundraiser that is like 900 kids at an elementary school, that's when it would be more logical for you, unless you have like an assistant and a lot of people willing to help you sort, excuse me, that's when a scent circle or a one item fundraiser would be the most beneficial for you, because you're the one that has to sort all these orders out, right? And package them all and all separate them and all that stuff. And so if you have 900, kids doing the fundraiser, that means you're going to have like, oh my gosh, because I would say on average, you get back between 5 and 10 order forms per kid. Can you imagine how many orders you would have coming in? I mean, if you pass out 900, you're probably going to get like maybe 600 kids actually do the fundraiser. But so those kind, I would recommend. I've never done a big fundraiser like that. I've always done like one program, like the volleyball team in a high school or the dance team in a dance studio. I've done personal fundraisers, and what those are basically you are raising money to donate to somebody personally. They're trying to get, their kid. I did a donation for a friend of mine that her and her son were going on a mission in Guatemala, and they just needed money to help them for the whole process, plane ticket, food, everything they were going to do for their mission. So I did a fundraiser for her. And she hosted like a party, but then also at the party, people took home packets so they can take it to work and, collect orders and things like that. And then the commission I donated to her personally so she can do her mission. So there's so much opportunity with fundraisers, you guys. That daycare center that I did, again, I brought one of these, I brought a proposal, and I also had like a little on the go bag with me. So just in case, because you don't know, I mean, 10 years ago is a lot likelier that people didn't know what Scentsy was than today, but there are people out there, I meet them every day. So you bring some products with you so they can have an idea of what this product is. And just let them know, who would I talk to in order to get a fundraiser approved to do a fundraiser with Scentsy. And it's usually either like, the director of the school or, whatever type of organization, there's going to be somebody specifically that makes that decision. And so you want to be able to get that in their hands. And then you have to follow up with those people and say, can I have their contact information? If you don't get to talk to them that day, say, I'd love to email them and just kind of follow up and see if they have any questions. Because leaving the ball in their court is less likely for something to happen. So you always want to try to get that follow-up phone call or email or both, so you can, because if they don't want to do Scentsy, there's a reason behind it. They have their information is not enough for them, or they're not understanding. And what I found with that specific school, what they came back to me with was, oh, but Pamper Chef is offering 50% commission. I said, okay, is that 50% of their commission, or is that 50% of of the whole total of what those sales are? And they said, oh, and they came back and said, oh, the consultant is going to donate 50% of her commission. They said, I'm donating 100% because I'm giving all 25% over $2,000. And what I do is I say 5%. I don't do that anymore, but for probably for the first 7 years of my business, I saved the 5% bonus when you hit over 2,000 to pay myself back for all the materials. I'm at a place that I don't have to do that anymore. I write it off as a marketing expense, which it is, and I give as much donation as I can. And I even add in my sponsoring bonus to give them a higher percentage because I can do that now. And that but it took me a long time to be able to get to that place. So that's something to look forward to if you would like to donate more and have more of a contribution with your fundraisers. Um, so does anybody have any experience with fundraising that's on right now? Melissa, Kristen, or Shauna, have any of you done a fundraiser? No? Melissa, have you?
I've done a few fundraisers.
What were the like organizations that you did them for?
My most recent and the most frequent that I do once a year is through PanCan, Pancreatic Cancer Association. My friend from high school's mom died from pancreatic cancer, and every year she does a walk. It's called Purple Stride. And so I give her, every year I meet with her, I give her testers, I give her catalogs. We sit down, we come up, she doesn't really care about like the product, she just like wants the donation. So we come up with a goal, and then I donate 100. I tell her that I'll give her 100% of my commission to her. It's, if it's 25%, then I'll give her the 20, what I earn. And then if I earn $2,000 for that month, then I'll give her the 30%. And then I just go through and then I pay, like she has a link for her walk. And then I just pay on the walk. I let her know that I get paid on the 10th of the next month. She always wants it in March. So we do the fundraiser for January and February. And then in March is when I pay her for both January and February.
Awesome. So how did you present that? Like, how did you initially get that fundraiser? Did you present it to her saying, I'd like to help you with that fundraiser? Or how did that get started?
I did. I saw it was 2018 was when I think I first proposed it to her. I was looking for fun. Like each year I try and focus on one thing. Like each year I focus on parties, individual sales, or hitting 2000. And then like that year I was doing like I was just trying for fundraisers. And so I tried to keep my listening ears open. Anytime I heard a need for something, I would always let them know. So with her, I just reached out and I said, hey, I see that you have like I know that you're doing a fundraiser. Could I help with that at all? With Sensi. And then she was like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I can create a link, and anybody that orders from it, I earn 25%. And I just explained it to her. And she was like, sure, I'd like to know more information. And so we sat down at Starbucks, and then I didn't come up with a proposal letter, but because it was just me and her, and it wasn't like a big company. And so we just talked about it. She was placing an order anyway. And I was like, well, I can go ahead and place this order towards your fundraiser. And she was like, oh, that's great. And then she had her brother and her dad ordered. And then she had some other people order. And that's just kind of how it's been every year. Every year I put together a link. And
I'm glad you shared that like, because like, for instance, Melissa had already a relationship built with this person. So a proposal letter wasn't necessary. But when you're walking into a random organization blind, they know nothing about you. They don't know if you're reliable. They don't know anything. That's important because people do business with people they know, trust, and like. And they don't know if they like you, they don't know if they can trust you, and they don't know you yet. So that kind of helps kind of build like that professional trust. As well as I always include the Orville and Heidi letter, which I'm totally forgetting what the name of it is. Let me try to find it and I'll bring it up. I have it downloaded, but I want to find where you guys can find it. And it's basically saying that they're a part of the DSA, and then also the fundraising something association. I forget what that is. We'll see. Oh, fundraising. Let me see. And it basically just tells that the person, the potential person, that if for some reason you decide to like just jump ship and stop selling Scentsy, or you take their money and run, Scensy's basically backing, saying you present this letter to Scentsy and you're going to get your money back. So let me pull this up really fast. Okay, so this is the letter that I print out and put with every proposal. So it says, "Dear fundraising coordinator, thank you for your interest in the Scentsy fundraiser. Here at Scentsy, we know how important it is to give you our to give to our community. In fact, generosity is one of Scentsy's core values." I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it says your supporters receive high quality, long lasting fragrance products, safe, affordable alternative to wick candles. Your organization receives the potential to earn outstanding profits for your group, fundraising support, and materials from the independent Scentsy consultant. So this is something you're responsible for. You're responsible to provide order form, some type of an envelope if you don't use the Scentsy Success fundraising envelope. However, I do encourage you to, because it just looks that much more professional, and it has everything you need. Like it has slots for them to write down each customer and how much they spent and all that, and they can track their online orders on it, all that, and they can collect money and keep the money in one place. um, and then it's signed by Orville and Heidi. And let me see what this is. Oh, it doesn't. It says, this is not big enough. Let me make this bigger for myself because my eyes are old. Let me see. Nope, that's not working either. Um, Association of Fundraising. Uh, I don't know. Somebody help me look that up. Somebody that has a chance to Google that for me. Um, it just basically says that they're a part of this association with fundraising, that they're going to back up anything that the consultant promises. And then you put your information, your phone number, and your website. And so that is something that just helps you gain trust. That because like I said, they don't know you from Adam. They don't know if you're gonna, great, collect all the orders or get all a bunch of online orders and then not pay out the commission. So there sometimes, and a lot of people that have been with me for a while know, thank you, Melissa, Association of Fundraising Distributors and Suppliers. Okay. That there's a very consistent fundraiser I do every single year, except for last year, obviously, because the schools got shut down. But I do it for a specific coach. I started out with one one high school, then she moved and went to another high school. So now I do it for both high schools because she does it, and then the other coach still does it for the other one. And um, it took me 2 years for her to gain a relationship with me, to gain a relationship with her, in order to feel comfortable for me to do a fundraiser for her school. So and that was just by me being a customer, I mean a consultant for her, as her small little orders that she was placing. And so I had to build rapport, build a relationship, and then finally, and it probably would have happened sooner, but uh I'll be honest with you, I didn't have the confidence to ask her until about that point. And because I didn't really feel like I was confident at that time to say, hey, um, let's talk about the fundraiser again, because I took it as like kind of like a no for a long time. And then when I initially told the people at the party that I met her at, which was also a fundraiser, it was a personal fundraiser for mutual friends of ours, that I do fundraisers for organizations, schools, and so. And then the host at the time said, "Oh, Nikki's a coach for a volleyball team." Well, at that time, she didn't know me at all. She was like, like, "I don't know this chick." And so it took me a while to kind of get over the initial, like, "Yeah, I don't trust you that much" type thing. Um, I gave a proposal packet for a fundraiser to lead STEM Academy in my son's first year, and she said she was interested and told me to contact her in August. And when I did, she never responded. I still send emails once a year, and she still doesn't respond. Who are you talking about? Because I've done fundraisers with them before, and I'm wondering if that's why she's not responding to you. So that's one of the things about like building a team in your area, is that sometimes um, you guys are attached to the same type of organizations. And orchestra director. Okay, yeah, I have nothing to do with them. Well, I do. My kid plays guitar, but I never offered it to them. So here's an example, guys. Melissa and I have kids that go to the same school. And so I have connected with the assistant principal, and I do the fall festivals. I do like a booth for the fall festivals during Christmas time. And I've also done a um, a football and basketball fundraiser. But Melissa is connecting with the orchestra director. And so we can be growing our businesses as well as offering our businesses in the same school because there's different departments. So don't think just because one person is doing it with this that you don't have an opportunity. Now, she hasn't said yes yet, but Melissa's consistency, I'm sure eventually something's going to come out of that. But there are a lot of people. One of the big mistakes with consultants is they just assume that one consultant like has territory over the whole school. Um, Melissa, myself, and then Melissa's sponsor, Michelle. And then I had probably about, at one time, I had about 6 consultants, including myself. So that's 7, all had either kids in the school or they were teachers. And we all had business that we were all doing with different parents, school departments, whatever. And so it doesn't mean because there's one consultant in a or 2 or 10 that you don't have opportunity to still offer. Let's see, was also live with 1 mile. Oh, live with also live within 1 mile of each other, and all of our kids have gone to the same schools. We're both, yeah, yeah. Currently, the house I'm in now, I can walk to Melissa's house. She can walk to mine. She can walk to her sponsor's house. I have like one, two. I have off the top of my head, I could say at least another 10 consultants in like a 2 mile radius, and everybody's doing their own thing. There's no, I'm sure every now and then they may, oh, I have a consultant and we know they know each other or whatever, but everybody knows different people, whether you realize it or not. So, just start thinking. My biggest suggestion is to start thinking of organizations that do fundraisers, and get a hold of an email, or if you're not as bold, if you're not as bold as me to just to walk up into the organization and say hi. That honestly, I will tell you, me growing my business, I did a lot of things that most people would never even dream of doing. I was very bold because I was so starving and so hungry for my business to grow because I needed it to. I didn't have another job, so I didn't have income that I could say, oh, I can, take my time building my Scentsy business. So if you're okay and you're not dying to grow your business, like you're not going to, next month, then it's okay if your business grows, you do it on a more comfort level and you're okay with it growing, on a slower pace. But me, I needed income and I needed it now. So I had to be bold, and I had to not let fear stop me from walking into that daycare center and offering a fundraiser. Um, let's see what she's saying. My grandchildren live in Maine. Can I offer fundraiser? Oh my gosh, yes. I have one of my very first team member. She's one of my best friends. She has done a fundraiser for her aunt in New York. We both live in Las Vegas every single year for the last 10 years. So her aunt is a director she's an orchestra director in New York. So yes, the thing is we have a website. It's a great question, Kristen. You right now, especially with COVID still happening, you can offer a website only fundraiser. If they don't want to take like materials, they don't want to have anything to do with that, they can still run a fundraiser and gain money just by posting a link on their school or organization Facebook page and emailing it out to everybody that's involved. So there's so much opportunity could still be happening. Um, okay, good question. So as far as tax sheets, the only way they won't be charged tax is if you're entering it into the workstation, as well as, wait, I'm trying to remember if it comes off in the on the party. I don't think they have a way to take tax off from the website order, but if you're entering in orders, Melissa, do you know this as far as tax in the website orders?
I know that there's a form, like an official form from
Yeah,
Scentsy
you
for
get the
tax.
tax ID number and they give it to you like a form and you submit it to taxes@scentsy.com. But my question is, I'm not positive if um I've only honestly done two fundraisers that were tax exempt. And I'm trying to remember if the website orders the price, the tax was taken off the website orders, because I know the ones that we enter in, because what Sensi does on their end, Kristen, is that they take that tax form, they put in the number, and then they go into your party and they make it so there's no taxes that are added. Okay. However, I don't know 100%. I mean, I need to know this, so I'll definitely look into it. But if the website orders would be tax exempt or not. But if they don't have a tax ID, then you do have to charge them taxes. And it would be the same tax of wherever it's being delivered. So it'd be different with each order, basically, if it's online. And yes, do I have a cheat sheet? I do. I actually have a spreadsheet that is in our Facebook pages that you would just have to go in and change the tax for your location for whatever state you're in. But the formula's there. So you would just go to the very top and change the percentage, and then it would change the whole sheet as far as the tax cheat sheet. Is it confusing? No, let me see if I can find it so you can see it. So it's a visual. It's actually really simple. They know if they're spending this is your tax. Like everybody that I've ever done business with, they've always been very grateful that I have that. Because it says they don't even have to think about, using a calculator, because people want to do they want as easy as possible, even though all they have to do is, type in a few things. I'm trying to find it because there's so much. It's been a while since I posted it. Let me see. Was this from 2012? Nope, that's not it. What I'll do is I'll try to find it for you, Kristen, then I'll tag you. Because it's still good. You just have to go in and change your state of whatever the taxes are for that. In the spreadsheet, the formulas are all in it, and all you have to do is just start from the top and drag the the cursor down, and it'll change all that to that new percentage. Is that what you were talking about? Oh, Melissa was asking that. Did that answer your question though? The tax sheet, is that what you're asking, if that was confusing? Did I answer the right question?
Yeah, I've never used a tax sheet before. Usually I just have like people always just ordered off of the website. And so I want to do more like the type of fundraisers that you're talking about. Like I have the folders, I have a proposal letter, like I have everything set to go.
Mhm.
I just like the tax sheet just always kind of scared me. Like if that was, I didn't know if that was, if kids are going not door to door, but like, how the kids go door to door. Like I just didn't know like if that was, I don't know, I suck at hostess coaching and that falls under that jurisdiction. And I just don't know, like,
Oh, you're so cute. So it just makes, like, again, people aren't necessarily visual learners. It gives it so what no matter what you coach them on, when you leave, they have it on paper to utilize. And so, like in all the experience that I've had as far as doing fundraisers, they've all said that if there's any way that they don't have to use their brain, that they could just look at something and know the answer, that's the more successful. And that's how I will tell you, the people that use my tax sheet, they come back with like $900 tickets when their goal is only like 200. And those end up being the people that I talk to about hosting their own parties, or usually joining, and they end up seeing that they have such a, and that is going back on why it's such a big opportunity, is because I've gained a new team member with almost every fundraiser I've ever done. Um, I'm actually all my fundraisers in some way. It may not have been exactly when they did the fundraiser, but I met somebody in that fundraising circle in order to sponsor. And so whether it was somebody participating in, the like parent of the kid, or if it's somebody that purchased, you're opened up to break out of your circle of people, and you start meeting people you never would have met, and you start growing your team outside of your circle of even local circle, because I've sponsored people outside of states because they ordered online in Texas or New York or wherever, and you follow up with those people and give them the opportunity because now they need to buy more stuff. And then you're starting to branch out and grow your team nationally, which is a very important thing to do in order to really grow a good foundation in your business, instead of keeping it just local. It looks like, I mean, like I said, I've got 10 years of posts in my group page. So it's just showing me like a million things. So if I don't find it, I'll just rescan one in so you guys can see it. And then I think I actually have a document saved so you guys can edit it. But let me write that down because I'll forget. All right. Any last questions? There's so much. One thing I'm going to say is that with fundraisers, I learn something new every fundraiser that I do. A new strategy, a new faster way of doing something, whatever. I have an entire playlist on fundraising on my YouTube channel of 10 years of my fundraising. All the things that, like, whenever I'm packaging or I'm putting one together, I'm always doing YouTube videos letting you guys know what I'm doing differently, why I'm doing it differently, what I learned, what a bad situation, something I like. My very first fundraiser, I didn't consider how much money I was going to be having to deposit. And so what I did wrong, I got through it, but I didn't know to make sure that I totaled every packet of how much money was in there to make sure everything was paid for. I just took all the money out thinking, oh, I'm just going to deposit everything. And I'm like, oh crap, I don't know if it's all there or not. And so it worked out that I like went through all the orders and I had enough like all the money was right. But that's something I had to do through trial and error. Like, a lot of people think that like my sponsor like walked me through, or somebody walked me. No, everything was just diving in, learning by swimming, and doggy paddling and treading water, and just learning from every experience. So I'm not saying that, you're going to have to do the same thing, because I have all these videos you guys can look at. And then Sensi has as well a lot more training on and everything, but especially fundraising, since I started doing that. So I had to do trial and error because they didn't have that type of training before. But now it's been around for so long, and people are doing fundraisers for so long, that they have like really good trainings on it. So definitely put the time into doing your training on fundraising, and start looking up things that, organizations, schools, whatever, programs in schools, foundations. Like, I know Melissa's sponsors, she does like a cat foundation or something every year. So there's so much. You just have to be intentional about it, and have the intention to actually get out there and get your name out there. Has anyone ever given you less money than they owe? How do you handle that? Okay, so yes, they have. But you'll also find that there's two answers. Yes, you'll find that some people give you more money, and they'll say like, oh, it's $20.59, and so they give you $21. So I'll always, and then that's why I try to make sure that all their information, I highlight everything on an example and say, I need this in case anything is sold out, or money issues, or credit card issues. I need their information for that reason, and to process their order, especially with the credit card. And I stress to the organization and the people that are taking packets how important I need that information, so that I can call them and say, hey, you gave me too much. Never had anybody say, okay, return it to me. They'll say, oh, that's okay, fine. So I've always been lucky, to be honest with you, that it always kind of balanced out with the overage and the underage, whatever. And what was there was the other side aspect to it. What was I going to say? The overage, people always do overage, and then you have to get the information so you can contact them. And then not enough. Oh, you know how I handled it? I'd always use free credit, and then I dealt with it at delivery. I would tell the teacher that this order was placed. I utilized, free credit or whatever, but this payment hasn't been made or wasn't enough. And okay, here's another thing, and I got to get going because we have our leadership one too. Um, it's so important to have your coordinator on your side and working with you, and stressing how important contact information is, turning in their packet. Um, the one I tell you that I do every year with this one coach, she's like a drill sergeant. I'm like, dang, like she makes them return all materials if they're not fundraising. Like she's like, I don't care. She's like, I want you to fundraise, but if you don't, you better give her back her materials because that costs money. Like she is a drill sergeant. So she's really good with that. And if somebody comes up short, she like makes sure that they give her the money. It's crazy, but not all coordinators are like that. Most of them don't want anything to really do. They want you to do everything. So just expect that. But I promise you, it is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie, a lot of work, but it's so worth it in the end. So worth it. You earn free credit, half off items that you can build your stock with, sell it off full price, build your stock for events. There's just so much, so many opportunities. And again, build your team, which is huge, and booking parties off of that. I have a client that started with a fundraiser, and every 3 months she books a party so she can get commission. I donate to her for her kids like dance fees or whatever. And I always get a new client from every party she does. And she's been doing this for about 2 years now, and she's finally starting to consider to join after all these years. So um yeah. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope it inspires you to go back and watch the training for the fundraising, what the other person did. And please, please, please look over this past Tuesday's, the 30th, on marketing with licensed products. All right, guys, have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.